Well, we mentioned the market responding to some weaker than expected Canadian jobs numbers today. And obviously, the big question is, what is happening with the economy as we head into this period of uncertainty in light of the trade war? Let's bring in Travis O'Rourke, who's president of Hayes, to talk a little bit more about the specifics behind the numbers. So, Travis, obviously, there's the Bay Street story, and then there's what's actually happening with the jobs specifically. So what did you see in this print?
Yeah, John. Hi. Thanks for having me. I'm an optimist, and I'd like to tell you that I saw a lot of good in this, but there's really not much there. And unfortunately, John, I think an ad of only 1,100 jobs is really going to be a sign of things to come, at least for the next few months.
There was an expectation we might see 20,000 jobs created, and to your point, 1,100. Something I noticed was there was a cool off in some of the manufacturing jobs, and so when you see that, I immediately say, oh well, manufacturing, this is the spotlight part of the economy right now in light of the uncertainty. The flip side would be, it was pretty cold in February across this country, so I don't know if there's some weather dynamics to consider right now. But long story short, are you already seeing in evidence in some of the jobs data that the uncertainty is weighing on employment?
Yeah, absolutely. And certainly, you touched on manufacturing. Manufacturing, well, the entire goods producing sector lost 20,000. Now, I think those numbers are probably going to get worse over the next few months. We also saw big pullbacks in transportation and warehousing. And because Trump signaled a lot of these things that he was going to do at the end of 2024, we saw a very high proportion of organizations moving product to the U.S. over the last few months. So manufacturing toning down now, expected for sure, but manufacturing is about to get worse. At least for Canada. We had a great KPMG survey came out earlier in the week, and 62% of manufacturing companies are now considering moving a lot of their production down to the US. So 1 month is a shot here, but we look at the trend over the next 12 months, these jobs might never come back, John.
And Travis, can you just break down the difference between a larger company and a smaller company having to make a decision on issues around that, and how quickly that gets reflected? In other words, if you're a business that employs anywhere between like 10 and 100 people, are you making these decisions on where your business is domiciled, how that impacts your job footprint faster than a large corporation?
John, that is a really important question, because these tariffs are going to hit the small mom and pops, the medium-sized organizations a lot more. And they don't have the resources to go and build a manufacturing facility down south. That's not just from a capital standpoint, but just from a know-how. They don't have the sales force that's going to be able to go to Asia or go to Europe and find new channels to sell their product. These are the companies that are going to get hit the hardest. And the retaliatory tariffs and the cost of goods increased on their production is going to hit them as well. So we need resolutions quickly here, John, because I'm not seeing much positive, at least in the manufacturing sector.
Okay, well, let me bring in another part of this trade response story that now we're going to likely hear a little bit more about, since we've sort of got the action plan in place on the retaliation. I'm talking about stimulus. The Prime Minister this week, he said, we're at the ready, we got your backs, yada, yada, yada. But in light of the fiscal situation, it's, there's a bit of a balance there. So a lot of people from the business community that we've been talking to have said we need to see very targeted stimulus for those who are impacted in the short term, and maybe some stimulus that will allow for us to build an economy that is stronger for the long term. Can you just give some examples of, like, if anybody in Ottawa is listening right now, where would be well-spent fiscal stimulus to address some of those issues?
Yeah, to be honest, I think easing some of the regulatory pressures is probably going to be number one. Stimulus would be great, but taking down some of the barriers to improve our interprovincial trade, that has to be number one on the list. Number two has to be looking at Europe and Asia and different ways that we can get more advantageous trade agreements in place. Obviously, our friends down in Mexico got hit as well. There are plenty of trade partners around the world that Canada just has not had to commit to. We haven't to put that level of effort into it because the Americans have been so great. But now that we're in this spot, we need leadership at a federal level. We need leadership at a provincial level to start negotiations with other countries. These tariffs might never go away, and we need to prepare for that reality. So stimulus is great. That's going to be a short-term pop. But any economist starts to worry about inflationary, results off the back of another stimulus. So right now, we need to look for other channels for where we can get Canadian goods and services to market.
All right. Travis, thanks very much. Appreciate your perspective as always. Travis O'Rourke from Hayes joining us, breaking down the jobs picture.